Welcome to the Degenerate Dillon podcast, where Dillon has you covered with everything from spreads to futures to prop bets. Follow him every weekday as we pick daily best bets using stats, analytics, and a little bit of luck. Now here's your host, Degenerate Dillon himself, Dillon Nelson.
Hey everybody, welcome back into another episode of the Degenerate Dillon podcast. My name is Dillon Nelson. It is March 31st, 2021. We are one day away from some Major League Baseball action. I cannot wait. I'm so pumped to give you guys all the factoids and give you all the rundowns of lineups and pitchers. And I just can't wait. I love baseball. Louisville Slugger on my head. Yeah, I love this time of year, man. I love summer. I love watching my Sox. Just love watching baseball in general. So I'm super pumped. Did a fantasy draft a couple days ago. I told you I would get into my lineup. Maybe I'll do that at the end of the episode and give y'all my team and who I really like. I drafted in an 11 slot in a 12-team league, so it's not like I got Mookie Betts or Mike Trout or anybody, but I do like my team for my slot range. We'll see what happens. We'll keep up with that as we go along for you baseball heads. But jumping into last night's action, we did have some dubs from last night. I had the Nuggets covering 4.5 against the Sixers. That played. However, Jokic's prop bet of 10-plus assists and a Denver win did not play. Jokic only had 4 assists last night. Orlando and Clippers. I had the Clippers playing the 11 points. Orlando actually beat the Clippers last night, which was very surprising to me because that Orlando team is just decimated and not very talented. Suns beat the Hawks last night and covered the 6.5. They won by 7, so just a slight cover there. Jay Crowder also covered a prop bet in that game of 3+ three-pointers and a Phoenix win. We talked about how he was 0 for 9 in their last game shooting threes, and that I figured he would have a bounce-back game. He did, in fact, have a bounce-back game, made 5 three-pointers last night, scored in double digits, and Phoenix won, so we cashed out on that. Touching base on today's games, our first game is Portland at Detroit. The line is 6.5 in favor of Portland. A few little factoids I'll throw at you for these games. Portland is 14-9 as an away team against the spread. Detroit is 12-9 at home against the spread. Detroit has lost 4 of their last 5 games, but 3 were covered. Portland has won 7 of their last 10 and scored 120+ in 3 of those 7 wins. Portland plays in a tough division with the Jazz and Nuggets, and in fact, they would be in first place in 2 divisions in the NBA right now if they played in another division, but they are in third in their own division. This team is really, really talented, especially getting back Nurkic and CJ McCollum. They're going to fight for that second spot in their division with the Nuggets all year long. I don't think anybody's catching up with the Jazz. The Jazz just got off to a hot start, and they haven't really stopped. They're not necessarily the same team they were at the beginning of the season, but they still are very good, and they are not losing very frequently. So I don't see anybody touching the Jazz in the first place in that division, but the second place in that division is definitely up for grabs between Portland and Denver. I like Portland to cover the 6.5 here. I don't think Detroit has enough weapons to stay with Portland in this game. Just like we talked about, CJ McCollum and Jusuf Nurkic are back. This team is loaded. It is ready to go. It added Robert Covington, who's having a great year off the boards. I just like this Portland team a lot, especially against a Detroit team that is mediocre at best. Best scorer on your team is Jeremy Grant, and anytime Jeremy Grant is your top scorer, no offense to Jeremy Grant, but anytime Jeremy Grant is your top scorer, you're not going to be a top team in the NBA. So I like the 6.5 there. Prop bet I also like is McCollum to have 5+ assists and Portland to win at +160. The last 3 wins has shown McCollum's passing ability, and he had games of 5, 7, and 8 assists in their last 3 wins. So I like him to continue that assist total and have 5+ assists in this game in Portland to win at plus 160. Houston's visit the Nets. Line is at 14 in favor of the Nets. The Nets are the highest scoring offense in basketball and holds a plus minus of plus 4.2. Houston is 24th in scoring offense with a plus minus of minus 6.5. Not a great split for Houston in this game. Brooklyn is 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 games, but Houston is 2-8 in the same category. Brooklyn has struggled covering double-digit spreads. It's weird for this Brooklyn team. There's just not a lot of defense there, and it really shows on these spread lines when they're favored by 10 plus. They just cannot cover it. I don't know if it's because of the defense. I don't know if it's just lack of hustle. I don't know, but they tend to not cover these double-digit spread lines. I really don't like the plus-minus situation in this game for Houston, but I really don't like the Nets' ability to cover those double-digit spreads. So I'm not necessarily playing this game spread-wise, but if I had to play it, I think the safe play would be the Rockets to cover the 14. I don't trust the Nets and their double-digit spreads. Prop bet I like in this game is the over of Joe Harris's total point, rebound, and assist at 17. I think Joe Harris could easily score 20 in this game, and you cover that right there. I like the points, rebound, assist total at 17. I like the over in that for Joe Harris. Jazz visiting Memphis Grizzlies. Line is at a 7 in the Jazz favor. Unlike the Nets, the Jazz have no trouble covering double-digit spreads against mediocre teams. The Jazz are 28-15 as favorites going into the game. Memphis is 5-5 as home underdogs, but 26-18 overall against the spread. Memphis is a decent team when playing against the spread on them. I mean, they're a really good really good team to bet your money on, spread-wise. Jazz have won their last 6 games, including back-to-back wins against the Grizzlies, one by 3 points and one by 16. The biggest note for this game tonight is that Donovan Mitchell is not going to play. The team has already said that he is out for personal reasons for this game. So that completely changes my opinion. If he was playing, I'd probably take the Jazz to cover. But since he is not playing, I like Memphis already against the spread at 26-18 overall, like we talked about. So I think the safe play here is to take Memphis, and that's what my play is going to be, Memphis plus the 7 here. The prop bet I really like in this game is Ja Morant to go the over on his total points, which is 20 points. I without Donovan Mitchell there, and I think most of you agree with me, I think that's a safe play. I think Ja Morant's going to have a really good night. I think he's easily going to get over 20 points in this game. Fourth and final game, Bucks visiting the Staples, Bucks visiting Staples Center, and Lakers on ESPN at 9 late tonight. Line is Bucks -8. LeBron and AD are still out, of course. Kuzma and Montrezl Harrell are basically there to fend for themselves and try to win this team ball games and keep it on track for what seems to be an inevitable low seed in the West. The Bucks have lost 3 in a row after going on a 7-game win streak, which is kind of concerning for me if they were playing someone with good talent. Lakers have won 2 in a row after losing 4 straight. I'm not a fan of this line tonight, just based off of how the Bucks have played in their last 3 games and the Lakers have played in their last 2. Granted, the Lakers have not played great teams in their last 2, one of them being the Orlando Magic. But having said that, if I had to pick between these teams in a line tonight, I would definitely probably take the Bucks to cover the 8. Without AD and LeBron, this team's a hot mess. I know they've won their last 2, blah, blah, blah. They're still a hot mess, man. I don't like this team against a Bucks team that has everybody healthy right now. I'm not a huge fan of that line, but I do like Giannis's total points, 28. I like the over on that. I really think Giannis is. I think he without LeBron in the lineup. Simple as that. I think that's easy money tonight. Matter of fact, I'm going to take that as my lock of the night. Giannis over 28 points is my lock of the night. Don't like the line there. Wouldn't suggest betting it. I think it's a trap game. I think the Lakers could easily cover that 8, and I also think that the Bucks could easily cover that 8 too. Tomorrow, loaded with baseball. Super excited to talk pitcher matchups, lineup matchups. I'm just really, really excited to dive into baseball. I will go over tomorrow my futures that I have selected. I've locked those in today, this morning on tallysite.com. Like I mentioned yesterday, you can visit Tallysite, Tally, SIGHT.com. Come see my picks daily. I will upload these picks with a couple of other picks that I like tonight for tonight's NBA action. I will start uploading my baseball picks every day before the games start. So get excited for that. Like I said yesterday episode, if you did not get a chance to listen to it, we are going to have Pamela Maldonado on the show Monday to talk anything and everything Masters. We're going to talk about favorites, long shots, anything you guys can think of Master related. We are going to touch base on it. Really excited to have her, blessed to have her on the show. I really appreciate her getting back with me and setting up a date and a time. We are also in the works to try to get Olivia Moody from Book It HQ on the show too. Hopefully we can get her on the show and we can talk some NBA props. I know she's kind of famous for her TikTok dances that give her prop bets out for the night. So we're really excited to get on and maybe touch base on a few prop bets with Olivia Moody. So looking forward to those two guests coming on the show. I really appreciate y'all tuning in, man. It's been an awesome ride here, man. We're kind of getting back into the groove. I went on a week vacation trip with my wife, so I was not in front of the camera or the mic for a whole week. So I'm kind of getting back into the groove of things. So don't mind me. But that'll be it for me on today's episode. I really appreciate y'all tuning in, and we will catch up with y'all mañana. Take it easy.